Hi guys, welcome to another Fearless Weekly Update, Energy Update for the week of 12/27 to January 2nd, 2021. So we're going to look at all of the energies that are going on this week, starting with Sunday the 27th. We have a Cancer moon, the full moon in Cancer. That's the big news for this week. And the energy is like, I'm already starting to feel that energy. It happens on Tuesday, and we will get into that a little bit and talk about what that means. But that's really like the big news as we move, and of course the new year and what's happening. But this is going to be a really big week of releasing, and Venus is going to be in the spotlight a little bit this week as well. Before we get started, I wanted to let you guys know that I do all the way from today up until midnight, December 31st, you can get 20% off all of my services. My bookings are open for January if you'd like to take a look at that. And if you missed the manifesting workshop in November and December, we're doing it again at the end of January. Make sure you reserve your spot today for that. That manifesting workshop is amazing. Like, it's the real deal. It just sort of teaches you how to feel better. And I think that that's the biggest thing in manifesting, is just allowing yourself to feel good no matter what's going on in the outside of you, but really allowing yourself to feel good on the inside and then manifesting from there. So if you haven't been able to join us yet, we would love to have you. It's January 30th. That information is all in the description box. If you use the code FEARLESS20, you will get 20% off all of the packages or all of the astrology readings and tarot readings, and you can book in January. All of that information is below. All right, let's get started. Things are a little weird right now. Like, I'm just gonna put that out there. The last couple of days after Christmas, it felt like it just felt like the Sandman, sprinkled dust on my head and said, okay, it's time for you to sleep. I literally slept 11 hours one night, which I needed. And I know that this is a leading up to that Cancer full moon, because it's going to be a really big release. It's going to be one of those things that we're really, really releasing 2020 in a big way. And a lot of us have things that we have to come to terms with as well. So that's, if you're feeling tired, if you're feeling extra tired, really allow yourself to rest. Your body is telling you to take a moment and relax and refresh yourself. So Sunday, the moon is in Gemini. The moon is opposing Venus, and this is like the ending of a story. So when we have an opposition to anything, it's sort of like a full moon effect. So with the actual moon opposing Venus, it feels like the ending of a love story. It feels like there's an ending to some kind of story that you depended on in a values, like how you value yourself, how you value other people, how you value relationships. It could even actually be a literal ending to a love story, and you guys are recognizing that it's time for you to move on. Just allow yourself to move with the energy. Don't try and force anything when it comes to the moon opposing Venus, when it comes to relationships and stuff, because that can backfire pretty quickly and pretty badly, especially right now. Right now is really a time to release. The sun is trining Uranus today. The sun is in Capricorn. Uranus is in Taurus. And this is real, and it's funny because I actually saw this playing out yesterday in a really big way. Everybody has an opinion, and they're a little bit more extra irritable about it, especially as we're coming up to the full moon in Cancer. There's this irritability that everybody's sort of all of their emotions, all of their feelings, all of their reactions are on the surface, just ready to jump. And I've just seen that in my own, perception, in my own world. So be very, very careful. Everybody wants to be right now, and everybody's they're trying to prove people wrong with that sun trining Uranus, and the sun is also in conjunct the moon. So the sun in Capricorn is in conjunct the moon, and in conjunction is a harsh aspect as well. That's a negative aspect as well. So, and really it's like, I'm going to prove to you that I'm right. Even if I am wrong, I'm just going to keep on. It's like a never ending, like a never ending rolling. And no matter what you say. So the best thing for you to do is let them spill, like let them show them their true colors, right? Like that's the biggest thing right now, is not letting people get the best of you in situations, and just sort of letting the like water off a duck's back, as they would say. Monday, the moon is in Gemini. The moon is joining with the North Node. So there's like a new story, a new emotional story that's coming. There's a lot of fated emotional events that are happening right now, and recognizing what you can really do for yourself, especially when the moon joins with the North Node, what you can really do for yourself is see all the stories that are playing out in your life, and pay attention to those stories that you feel like are more of a restriction or more of a block for you, and recognize that, and kind of take a mental note, or even write it down, or just like really focus your attention on how, like, the things that you've been struggling with, the things that you've been struggling to comprehend, the things that you've really been wanting to work out, and you've been trying to like force it and force it and force it and force it, and it just isn't working. Those are the aha moments where I want you to pay attention to, because this shouldn't be such a struggle. Like, we make life a little bit harder than it needs to be. When I say we, I mean humans. We make life a little bit harder than it needs to be because we want to be right. We want what we want. And the universe is saying, but I have something so much better for you. So why are you trying to be right all the time? So paying attention to those restrictions. Restrictions look like anxiety. Restrictions look like negative self-worth, or like, really bringing yourself down. Restrictions and blockages look like, a rejection, but then you keep trying, right? Like you keep moving in that direction, even though you've been rejected maybe even numerous times. So just really paying attention to what it is that is no longer supposed to be in your life. Those are the struggles. Those are the things. And I don't mean like just getting in an argument in a relationship, because if you can get in an argument in a relationship and then also like smooth everything over and make sure that you guys took care of, all of the stuff and didn't just shove it under the rug, right? Like, arguments are normal. Disagreeing is normal. It's when somebody says no, or a situation says no, or the universe is saying no, not that direction, and you keep on trying to force going in that direction, that's when there's a blockage, okay? So there's a really big difference there. And this week is literally going to show it to you face value. Like, you won't even have to guess what it is that's in your way to your purpose. The sun is trining Lilith. So there's also, with the moon joining the North Node, there's this emotional insight and maturity as well. So that's what I mean by really being super extra aware of how you are restricting yourself by constantly moving in a direction that's not for you. You see what I'm saying? So the sun trining Lilith, this is a really big emphasis for the changing times of the feminine energy. We've been talking about Lilith quite a bit, and even last week I talked about how that Uranus conjunct Lilith the entire week was just the shifting and changing of energy with the feminine. And it's not supposed to be in a power struggle kind of way. Yes, Lilith can kind of be a power struggle sort of energy, but that's because she's just trying to show us that it's okay for women to be a little bit extra. It's okay for women to be a little wild. It's okay for us to have those emotions. It's okay for us to show our emotions. For a long time, Lilith was portrayed as like a darker feminine energy, when it's just a feminine energy. There's no such thing as a darker feminine. I mean, like, we can argue about it all day long, but we all know what the darker masculine energy looks like. So why is it that we aren't allowed to be able to dig deep into the darker feminine energy? Lilith is just raw, right? Lilith is very transparent, very raw kind of feminine energy. And so this sun trining Lilith is kind of bringing that spotlight out. There might be a little extra sexual tension that's going on Monday, but this is really like a really big awakening for women in general who sit in their feminine, or like the feminine energy in general. Okay, so Tuesday is the full moon in Cancer. The full moon happens at 10:27 p.m. Eastern. And Venus is starting to square. So Venus doesn't square Neptune until the 30th, but she's very close to the square. And so this is actually going to affect the full moon in Cancer as well. The moon rules Cancer. So this is one of those really big ones where our emotional release, and this happens at the end of every year. Sometimes it's just the beginning of the year. I remember one year when January 1st was the full moon in Cancer, and I remember doing the reading for Cancer on that day for January 1st. So it just sort of, this is like the culmination, right? This is the final release. This is the culmination of everything that we've been through in 2020. And this year looked different to every single person. And even though we were all going through the same collective pandemic, even though we were all going through the same collective politic energy, we perceived it in different ways. We moved around it in different ways. We lived through it in different ways. And it really showed the diversity of how we all can, how do I want to put this? How we all handled the situation. Like you can really see the difference, right? Like it's very apparent, the difference, even to the point to where there are those two division sides, right? I'll wear a mask, I won't wear a mask. I'll socially distance, I won't socially distance. I'll do that. You know, it's like everybody had an opinion all year long about what was it. The virus is real, the virus isn't real, it's a hoax. This is just to get us all to stay in. Like, I get it. I get all of the controversies. I get all of the conspiracy theory. I don't even like the words conspiracy theory because I think that they're BS, but everything that happened this year happened to everybody. We just all perceived it in a different way. So what I would really like to challenge you guys to do with this full moon in Cancer is to evaluate. Just look at the past, look at 2020 and how you perceived it in your way, and whether there was more good than there was bad, or there was more bad than there was good. I'm going to challenge all of you to really look at the things that you did receive, the things that did happen that were good. And it doesn't have to be a material possession. If you allow yourself to really look at how you grew, what did you learn? You know, what part of your emotional habits did you change? This is going to be about releasing all of those things that held us back. And 2020 was kind of one of those years that showed us exactly what was holding us back. A lot of people even took the cue to pivot and start a new business, start their own business. Some people took the cue to pivot and to just have a vacation and be like, all right, well, I guess this is what we're doing. And so now, you know, some people didn't even have the luxury of doing either one of those and really sat in sadness and depression and pain and exhaustion and survival mode for almost the entire year, for like 12 months, right? Or 10 months even, if we're going to get like really, really specific, it was about 10 months. But everybody received some kind of knowledge, universal knowledge this year. And there were moments that we all received some kind of way to change our life. Whether we're changing our lives for the better for us, or we're changing our lives because we had to, because there was no other way of doing it, that we had to change our lives. So I want you to look at all of those pieces, and instead of focusing on all of the negative stuff that happened, I want you to look at the positive, because I know that there's something in there. And really allowing yourself to say, I know that I evolved this year, regardless of the circumstances, regardless of what happened. I know I did, because that's the truth. We are evolving and changing every single day. Even if you don't feel like, even if you feel like you're stuck, If you feel like you're not evolving, if you feel like you're changing, I guarantee you every single day is a little bit different than the day before. And you can create, and this is something we actually talk about in the manifesting class, you can create new energy by doing new things every day, by not having a schedule or a routine, or if you do have a routine, just change it up a little bit, just switch it up a little bit and bring some new energy into your life. But definitely this moon is about going within. This moon is about, 2020 showed us that there is no such thing as safety and security when it comes to the outside material world. And the way that you can allow yourself to heal through the end of the year is to really look within and find that your own sense of safety, find your own sense of security, really, really nurture, because Cancer is the mother, right? Cancer is the sign of the mother. It's the 4th house. And it's the sign of the emotions. So nurturing yourself, mothering yourself, telling yourself that it's going to be okay, telling yourself that, this too shall pass, whatever it is you have to tell yourself to get into a new state of mind, or just be able to start the year fresh, and it's really funny because I feel like more often than not, people are really going to allow themselves, because we don't want to sit in that pain and sadness and fear anymore. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like the majority of people, they don't want to sit in that gunky feeling anymore. So allow yourself to release, allow things to fall away if you need to. This is that week that this is it, right? We're already moving into a new energy, and moving into this next new year, there are going to be new challenges. There's going to be new hope, and there's probably going to be a lot of new abundance and adventures, but we have to make room for that. And so the releasing process. So make sure that you're allowing yourself to remember that you have the power to create safety, comfort, love, warmth, all within yourselves. We have all of the power within ourselves to do it. We don't need to count on somebody else to do that. Yes, it's nice to have other people around you. So if you do have a nice core group of friends, make sure that you're reaching out to them as well. But when it comes down to it, you are your biggest benefactor when it comes to safety and security. All right, Wednesday. So the moon is in Cancer on Wednesday, leading off of we're still in that full moon energy. It's going to be opposing Mercury, and Venus is squaring Neptune. So there's going to be a lot of distorted images of your own self-worth. And this is what I'm saying by that full moon energy is really going to be shining a really big light, especially with this Venus square Neptune. Really shining a big light where you're sleeping on yourself, where you're not disciplining yourself, where you're not taking accountability. And the funny thing is a lot of people are going to look at this and they're going to blame somebody else. They're going to say, you're the reason why my self-worth is bad. You're the reason why I don't feel good in this way or whatever, right? So instead of looking outside of you and blaming other people for how you feel or the things that have happened in your life, Venus square Neptune is going to make you take accountability for how you're treating yourself, and the distorted, because you're going to think that you're not good enough. You're going to think that you need to do more. You're going to think that you need to be a certain person or act a certain way for people to love you or for people to pay attention or show up for you. That's what Venus square Neptune is. And it's your job to shift that energy and to pivot that energy and to realize that you have all the power to make yourself feel better and, lift yourself up and have a better outlook, have a better view of who you are as a person. You know yourself better than anybody else does. And if you're the kind of person that says, oh, they know me better than I know myself, then you really need to get in touch with yourself, because nobody should ever know you better than you know yourself. You should know yourself inside and out for sure, so that you can be the one that, tells everybody else, this is who I am, instead of everybody else telling you who you are. Do you see what I'm saying? All right. So then we have 12/31. The 31st, which is Thursday, New Year's Eve, the moon is going to be opposing Pluto. So the moon in Cancer real early in the morning is going to oppose Pluto. Venus is going to be conjunct the South Node. So Venus is a really busy girl this week. Like Venus in Sagittarius, there's a lot of stuff going on with her. And I think it's so cool that it's happening at the end of the year because it's all about the value of how we feel about ourselves. Like, how are we placing value on ourselves? And it's drudging up the past. It's like digging up all of those past wounds, those final remnants of those past wounds that we really didn't want to pay attention to for the longest time. And they're there. They're like front and center. They're right there. And they're showing you, you know, how to clear out all of that negativity, clear out all of that stuff that's been holding you hostage for a long time. And it's really like it's helping you to surrender, just surrendering to the process. So this could be a lot of past relationships coming back. It might even feel a little bit like a Mercury retrograde. You know how we all talk about like, don't go back to your ex during Mercury retrograde or during the pre-shadow and post-shadow periods. If your ex comes in, I guarantee you people are going to get hit up by their exes this week, like in a really big way. So it's up to you to be discerning on that. Like, are you going to let those people back in, or are you going to recognize that you're better off without them and realize that that's a past story? Like, you don't have to own that story anymore because it's something that can stay in the past. You don't need to bring it into your future. You're done with it. The moon in Leo will be trining the sun. I'm sorry, that's not right. The moon in Leo will be trining Chiron late in the evening, and this is going to bring that self-confidence wound up as well. So there's a lot about self-esteem and self-confidence. There's a lot about not letting our ego be in charge. There's a lot about not allowing yourself to dip into the illusion. The South Node can be a lot about illusion as well. But mostly it's about that vortex. Like it's like a vortex to the past. It's a vortex to the past in this lifetime. It's a vortex to the past lifetimes that we've had before this. And don't get stuck. Don't get stuck in an old narrative. Don't get stuck into an old story, especially when it comes to your relationships. Don't get stuck in the I'm not good enough, or I'm not this, or I'm not that. This can be a really harsh week on your self-esteem. So building yourself up. You know, I've never really been a big fan of like positive mantras. Like, I don't do positive mantra meditations. For me, it's more about grounding, but positive mantra meditations work for a lot of people. For me, it's about, you know, making sure that I'm just kind of like being my own hype man first thing in the morning. Like that first 5 minutes of the day, I really hype myself up before I look at my phone, before I look at anything that I have to do. I build my own self-esteem before I even get started in the day. Whether that day is going to go well or not doesn't matter. That first 5 minutes is what I needed to get going. So whatever happens during that day, whatever triggers I get during that day, I can always go back to, oh, remember what you said to yourself this morning, and that's all true. All of that amazing stuff you talked about yourself, you know, you talked yourself into this morning, all of it was true. So be your own hype man if you need to, or reach out to other people. I'm sure there are other people out there that are just going to like give you the old, you can do this kind of thing. Friday the 1st. So the 1st of January, we're starting the year with a lot of acute intuition. Mercury in Capricorn is sextile Neptune in Pisces. So this is going to be a really good day for healing. So everything that came up with the full moon, the moon is in Leo. So really opening up our heart centers, really opening up our heart space, really looking at our own self-esteem and our own confidence and allowing ourselves to heal through it. Mercury sextile Neptune is going to be a day of creativity. You know, get your journal out, like start making plans for the new year, start allowing yourself to daydream. And, you know, if it doesn't feel like you can do concrete plans for 2021, that doesn't even matter at this point. If you just allow yourself to write down how you're feeling, how you felt about 2020, write down how you what would like to see 2021 look like for you, just for you, and not based on, let yourself dream big on the first, and don't let anything limit you. Don't be like, oh, I don't have the money to do this. I'd really like to travel, but I don't have the money to do it. Or I'd really like to travel, but we're in the middle of a pandemic. Manifesting things is about reaching past your limitations and remembering that we are human, and so we will look at the limitations of life because we are human. But if we were to look at our spiritual body, our etheric body, our emotional body, and see that we can transcend any kind of limitation, we don't know what's going to happen with COVID on the 1st of January. We don't know what's going to happen with any of the things that are going on. So why limit ourselves in the unknown? Being in the unknown is the best place to start. Being in the unknown is the best place to start your life. And it's a little uncomfortable being in the unknown, but that discomfort is something that should allow us to push forward and not keep us paralyzed. The discomfort is what is helping you grow and evolve, because you're like, oh wow, I don't really feel comfortable about that, but I'm just going to push forward anyways. And then it turns out being really, really great because you overcame a fear or you overcame a limitation. Do you see what I'm saying? So Mercury sextiling Neptune, really good day for healing, and really healing other people as well. There might be some gems that you have stored away that you haven't really opened up about. So allowing yourself to even say things to other people, like maybe your spirit guides have things, maybe their spirit guides come through you and have things to say to them as well. So really healing day on Friday. Let yourself relax. Get started by relaxing. And then on Saturday the 2nd, the moon is in Leo, trining Venus, trining Venus, and trining Mars. So lots of big love, lots of big emotions. Really feeling the love on Saturday. And this may be a good time for you guys to reach out to people that you haven't spoken to in a while, that you care very much for, and you haven't seen or spoken to. And just the gratitude, like feel all of that gratitude, feel your heart center, feel the gratitude within your heart center, and creating that space for yourself to be free, and creating that space for yourself to love. Love can kind of be scary when you look at it in the third dimensional matrix. So don't look at love as a fear. Look at it as something that helps you grow and something that helps you evolve. So I want to wish you guys a very, very happy new year. Please stay safe this week. I don't think, I don't think that there are going to be a lot of celebrations. But if you do plan on getting together with people, please just stay safe and stay aware. And let's have a really good 2021 despite all of the stuff that we're coming out of. It's going to be a little bit rocky in the beginning. It's going to be a little bit, I think it's actually going to be, it's not necessarily going to be rocky as much as surprising. I think there are going to be a lot of surprises that we get in January and February. And I know a lot of people hear the word surprises in astrology and they're like, oh my God, more? Why do we need more? But it's for the better, right? It's not to make you miserable. Like the universe isn't just trying to make you miserable. If you're one of those people that just thinks that the universe is doing this to you to make you miserable, I guarantee you that is not the truth. The universe is pushing us along to get us to evolve and to change and to do better and be better versions of ourselves. So try and switch that narrative. The universe is not the big bad bully with the magnifying glass on the ant hill. I promise that's not what this is all about. This is all about evolution and change. So have a wonderful, happy new year, and take really, really good care of yourselves, and come join us for the workshop at the end of the month. And I will see you guys next week. And for your general January readings, I'm rolling them out. Bye.